We're here, we're back, Central Scotland, Loch Lomond and Trossachs, here in Callander. We're stripping out and renovating this period property. We've given ourselves 6 to 8 months and we are in the throes of it. So for this episode, we're getting into the bones of it. We have done a significant amount of stripping out, which has highlighted a few problem areas. We'll take a look at that. But we've also gotten into making some forward steps instead of going backwards. So we've started refurbing the windows and we're going to have a look and see how they're coming along, which I'm very pleased with. So let's take a look. Another big day for the windows and another rewarding day when you've got other people on site. Always makes you feel like you're getting twice as much done. Glazers are here. Windows are getting repaired. And here are the glazers, hard at work. All going on. Got more walls coming out today. I'm stripping. Vinny's painting. And Dylan is doing rubble. So we've started the windows. Again, we had swayed with replacing them, but I think it would have been a shame. They were salvageable, so we decided to. It's probably more work and more money, but we felt it was worth maintaining and restoring the existing windows. So we've started that process. This is almost like stage one, I guess. We've re-roped them, replaced some of the old cast iron weights that act as the pulley system that's sitting here. Started putting on the new hardware. We've got new staff beads to come, which is this section here, and we've also got new parting beads as well, which I don't know if you can see, but is these sort of wooden strips. Yeah, stage one on the windows is kind of complete. They're all, once they're unlocked, openable and kind of moving nicely. And yeah, this means that long term they're all sort of serviceable, and you can get into the guts of it. A lot of these sort of been. They're all been painted shut, the ropes had snapped, there was missing hardware, yeah, various issues. So yeah, this is kind of like the first stage of the refurb. We had a bit of a production line going. I was kind of taking the windows out, one of the other guys was sort of taking them back, removing old paint. Morning guys!
Morning.
So this is our morning routine. Logan comes, takes out the windows, and Craig starts painting them. We're just trying to avoid them sticking with the paint. It's very important to note actually that the age of this property is almost 100% got lead paint in there. So we've been using a heat gun to strip it back so that that's not getting like sanded and sort of aerated and then inhaled. So yeah, heat gun, been taking back the paint, and then when our painter comes in, the windows will come out again, they'll get laid down, and then the painter will paint them out of place. The reason for this is it keeps them free moving. You know, if best will in the world, it doesn't matter how good or neat your painter is, there's a lot of touch points. The paint just congeals and essentially creates a seal. So we'll remove them, paint them out of place, and then fit them. It's, yeah, it can be a little bit of a frustrating process, in and out, but it's just necessary. So. Craig's still working his way through the windows. How's it going, Craig?
Not too bad.
Getting there?
Could be there.
Could be worse. Cold? So much work goes into these windows. Okay, that reminds me. I actually thought it might be interesting to just give a bit more, peel back the layers on what's involved in refurbing these Victorian windows. So as I've said, multiple processes to this, and we're sort of just at stage one. These windows actually were probably better on the inside than they were on the outside. A lot of reputting needs done, a lot of reglazing needs done, but in terms of the sort of functionality of the window and the sort of the mechanics of it, this is kind of what's going on in behind what you don't see. So yeah, we've got replacement. This bead here is a staff bead. We've got replacement staff beads which have got a pre routered channel in the bead itself, and we'll be putting feeding brushes down that just to help with draft exclusion. Same again with the parting beads. That's also got that pre-routered channel in it for brushes. The parting beads are what separate the sort of inner window from the top window. So yeah, we'll be putting brushes in them to help with efficiency. Then we've got the ropes which go down inside the casement, which is what gives you the sort of weight for the windows working. So in there, that's kind of what holds it up and kind of helps it take it back down. Generally for the bottom windows, you're looking for, we've used these, we sort of tripled, added 2-3 of these individual lead weights. So you're kind of looking at each side per window. The bigger bottom casements, they're probably about 7 kilos you want, and then for the smaller top windows, you're probably looking at about like 5 kilos. So yeah, we've kind of re-roped and added these where necessary, but a lot of the existing cast iron weights, we've just cleaned them up a bit, cleaned out the casement so that they're kind of moving nicely, and reused them because there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. A lot of the old ropes can kind of dry out and snap, so we've had to replace this, we've re-roped all of them actually. And then we've got new hardware on everything. We've got these, the staff bead little hinges, which allow that to unfold and you can sort of service the window. And also these window stops, which give you, there'll be a small metal gold screw that goes into the window itself, and then that sort of drops down and kind of gives you that sort of quarter open window, just for breathability. And then the final piece of the puzzle is these batten rod screws, which allow you to sort of lock the staff beads in place. And yeah, we kind of only want to take this so far until the painter's been in really. We'll fit the new parting beads and staff beads, and then hardware. We just wanted to make these workable because a lot of them hadn't worked, so we wouldn't have probably normally put on these eyelets just now or the window locks, but the previous ones were either missing or broken. So yeah, just wanted to get the windows functioning and usable for ourselves as well, to be honest. It's just handy being able to, during the strip out process, just get a bit of breathability in here and keep airflow going. So yeah, so we also had a bit of conflict in whether to replace the windows. Obviously it would have been sash and case double glazed, but we just felt it's just not the same. You know, the views over here, Ben Ledy, like the window that you look out, it's the picture frame of the other side of the glass. And you know, as much as there's very talented people making these new windows, and yes, some of them are hard to tell the difference, to be fair, but we just wanted to do the views justice. And you know, when you're in these rooms, when you're on a break and you're sitting down enjoying a coffee, or you're lying in your bed and you're looking at your windows, you just can't be original, in my opinion. And yeah, as much as it's like, arguably, it's not really cost effective, you know, refurbishing them, and you know, obviously you've got the heat loss through these old windows. We are putting secondary glazing in. There is a fantastic company in Edinburgh, Gecko Glazing, that come out, measure up and fit these individual internal panels. Sometimes when people hear secondary glazing, it's that like sheet that covers the whole window. If you've got it, sorry, but it's awful. It just doesn't look good. It's effective, but it's not as good as these individual panels. So yeah, as I say, as much as it's going to lead to more ongoing maintenance, we just felt like the views that we're framing are going to be made by these windows. So we had to go with our hearts, not our head on this one, and just work with what we've already got. Bit of painting production line here. Craig, the master painter. Me and Logan working side by side today, making sure he's actually getting some work done. Can't be trusted left his own devices. Yeah, so problem areas. This stands out. It's quite a significant problem actually, and you'll see that we've got this acro prop here, which is holding up not the entire ceiling, but not the entire roof, but a significant portion of it. And yeah, the wet rot has sort of gotten to more than I had expected it to. It caused more damage than I had expected it to have caused. At this section roof, it's like there's a hip and there's two valleys that meet, so there's a lot going on. It's not quite straightforward. There's other rotten sections of joists which are relatively easy to sort of treat, cut out, and sort of splice in new. General rule of thumb is if it's over a third of, if the wet rot is, or any rot is over a third of the span of the joist, you're okay splicing it in. If it's more than a third, you really want to replace the entire length. Elsewhere we're okay, we're well within like the third of its span, so it's not too bad splicing it in. But we've got, like, as I say, with this forming two valleys and a hip, it's just complicated. We kind of really going to need to, I actually need to take this back even further to sort of see. We might end up having to replace an entire joist and maybe one of the roof trusses. So okay, I tell you what, I'll actually give you a proper look at this just to emphasize the point, let you see how bad this is. So yeah, it's just quite a complicated sort of roof detail. So you've kind of got, there's a step in the roof, you know, as I say, you've got that valley forming, and then you can see there's just this completely missing joist here. So yeah, and then it's like, how far up the hip does that go? Up that valley does it go? It's yeah, it's an area that we hadn't wanted to sort of dig into as much as we're going to need to. Fortunately though, it is just, I say just, inverted commas, wet rot. So once the sections are cut out, it's not like that will spread. It is localized to what you can see there. We just need to make sure we're cutting out enough sections, doing the required overlaps, or just replacing the timbers altogether. But yeah, wet rot is, you know, more easier to deal with than the likes of your woodworms or dry rot. Yeah, so this is another section that, yeah, another sort of point of interest, if you like. And it's funny because just since I've set this up here, this is worse than I thought it was when I first looked at it. So we've got the ceiling joist there, which is kind of clearly rotten. We'll cut that section of that out. We'll overlap it with a new timber. You kind of want around 1500 mil, 1.5 meters at least overlap, and then it will get bolted at staggered 200 mil centers. But I've also just seen the truss that forms that valley is rotten where it meets the wall head. So yeah, another really niggly point of the roof that's going to need sort of opened up to be put back together again, replaced. So yeah, I better go and check the other ones now. Oh, this really is the gift that keeps on giving. It feels like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but yeah, wins and losses. Progress with the windows. It's nice to see them coming on actually, because it's quite hard to put allocate a sort of labour time to those. I wasn't sure how long that was going to take, so it's been sort of mentally rewarding, relieving, kind of starting that process. And we've actually done the sort of more labour-intensive part of that, so it's good to start seeing them coming on. But with that win comes a little bit of a loss. Nothing catastrophic by any means, but yeah, just the reality of the level of some of the wet rot is yeah, a bit of a sucker punch. But we're still cracking on. We're still moving forward. You know, again, we're sort of long enough in the tooth in all of this that we know these processes. That doesn't make it any easier, but at least we've kind of got the perspective to be able to zoom out from it. So yeah, we keep moving forward, and we're at that sort of real physical part of the job. I mean, it's these renovations are always physical, but the intensity of that can fluctuate. So we're moving out of that initial, like, really labour-intensive part, and kind of moving into the more, you can start getting a rhythm with things, start setting things up, so it's all a bit more fluid. So yeah, we keep moving forward, and still forever optimistic. Just keep picturing the end result of this place, and at any sort of low point, that is what is the fuel and what is the motivator. And yeah, we're looking forward to getting into another week and being able to reflect. One of the great things about this is looking back on the progress that we've made. I mean, even up until this point, it's I've been guilty of just kind of putting my head down and kind of losing track of the wins that we have had. So it's really great sitting down, having you along for this entire journey, and kind of looking back, looking forward, and staying present. So stay tuned, look out for next week's episode, and there will be more unknowns, I'm sure, but more progress and more marching forward. So make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next time.